My name is Shane Ward, and I'm going to be doing the video project for this Geo 1050 class. So over the course of today, I'll be going hundreds of miles to a few different locations and stops to learn a little bit more about the Grand Canyon and to hopefully share a little bit information that perhaps you didn't know about the Grand Canyon. So really looking forward to this project. Myself and my friends have really been wanting to do this for a while, so flight schedules all kind of got worked out where we could go do that. So yeah, just to start off with briefly, the Grand Canyon first became federally protected back in 1893, back when it was just a federally protected forest, and it didn't actually achieve its national park status until 1919. And back then, it only got around 40,000 visitors a year, which is nothing compared to the 5 million that it sees today, which far exceeds almost all national parks. These visitors come from all over the world to just kind of stare at its wonder. So yeah, we're really looking forward to the trip, and again, see you in Arizona.
Alright, whenever you're ready.
Alright, so we're here today at Lee's Ferry, just east of the Grand Canyon, and we're looking at some formations here. If you notice behind us, we have this kind of white colored layer of limestone. That's the Kaibab limestone. Dates to an era of about 270 million years. Just above that, we've got the Moenkopi Formation, which is about 240 million years old by some estimates. The problem that scientists are having with this is called a paraconformity, because between those two layers, as you see, there's very, very little erosion, despite the fact that we have 30 million years between those. So modern scientists are calling that a paraconformity. Now, from a creationist point of view, something like this is pretty easy to explain, simply because, as we know, the limestone is formed by marine animals and seashells and such being pulverized by water and then deposited and compacted, forming the white limestone you see. And then above that, you would naturally finer sediments such as silt and mud and such, which we do see. So if you can imagine having these heavier particles of crushed seashells and the like, and then some lighter sand, and then some really fine silt and dusty mud particles, and you put it in a jar of water and you shake it all up, which would happen in a global flood, and you just kind of let it sit there on a counter. Over time, those heavier seashell pieces are going to be on the bottom, followed by the lighter sand, and then finally the silt. So to me, it's very easy to see that in these formations. That's clearly exposed. So yeah, that's about all we've got here at Lee's Ferry, other than this beautiful Colorado River. I think that we're all about to go take a dip in and check out that water temperature. So we will catch you again at the North Rim.
Don't stop moving, your joints will freeze.
Okay, so now we're just a little bit further east. What we're actually standing on right now is the and what you see behind me here is one of these balanced boulders. So how this kind of happened was, here at the top, that's the Chinook conglomerate. It's a really hard layer of rock. So a piece of that would have broke off, fell down here onto the Moenkopi Formation, and then over time, because the Moenkopi is the softer silt and mud, it would have eroded away down, this is going to continue to erode, and eventually this rock will fall and split into smaller pieces. So if you kind of look over here, or just over here to the side, you can see some of these other rocks that's happened to. They fell and split into smaller pieces. So yeah, that's it. So we're at another site, same location. We've got one of these pieces of shinnerup conglomerate right here that has just started forming relative to the other piece that we looked at. So you can kind of look over here on this left side, and you'll see a channel weaving down through here. So it's pretty easy to see that water has been rushing down this hill and kind of washing away part of the Moenkopi formation. And that's what's going to eventually leave behind the stand that this conglomerate sits on. So real quick, you can take a look at the two different types of rock, and it's pretty easy to see which one is going to erode faster. So here we've got this conglomerate that the upper rock is made up of. Super hard comparatively to the Moenkopi, which is just really flaky, made of nothing. So it's easy to see why it would erode a lot quicker than the upper rock. And so yeah, that's about it. All right, so now we've drove about 2.5 hours from our previous destination at Lee's Ferry, and we're at the north rim of the Grand Canyon. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what you can kind of see here behind me. Obviously, just a beautiful sight. We've got the many different layers of rock here, all sitting on what's known as the Colorado Plateau. So this plateau is actually around 1.7 billion years old, according to modern scientists. Around 65 million years ago, there was kind of an upheaval that started, so the land surrounding everything kind of lifted up, and at the same time, the Colorado River has started eating in, and they say that the Grand Canyon, most scientists dated around 5.5 to 6 million years ago. But again, these rocks that you're seeing around here, they go all the way back to around 1.7 billion years old at the base. So the top layer of rock over here, the kind of white, is the Kaibab, and then right below that we've got the Coconino sandstone. It's the darker colored rock, the biggest layer. Actually, you've got the Teraweep, and then the Coconino, and then at the bottom, the very bottom layer is the Hermit. So that's kind of the different layers. How all these different views of how these form, but one view is that over hundreds of millions of years, the oceans kind of come inland and then retreated, and obviously leaving behind sediment deposit. And they've done this, continually over hundreds of millions of years. Just layer after layer after layer after layer was built up that way. Then from a creation standpoint, obviously all of this was laid down very rapidly, which is another way that you would definitely get different layers. Different layers of sediment is, if it was all laid down rapidly, it would all be kind of sorted by weight and density instead of gradually over time. So when we came from Lee's Ferry, that was the beginning. It's about 100 miles east of here. There's a place called Lake Bittahoche. It's a dry lake bed now. But at the time when it was full of water, it would have contained around 20,000 square miles of water, which is actually larger than Lake Michigan. So basically what would have happened would have been, the Genesis account of that would have been that the earth would have split open, ejected water from these subterranean chambers of salt water, completely covering the globe. And then as the waters retreated back into what we now have as the ocean basins, you've got to imagine all the valleys and stuff would have been left brim full of water. Over time, it's going to rain, snow and stuff's going to melt, come down from the mountains. It's going to cause these post-flood lakes to overflow, so bust a spillway, And this is actually something that now modern scientists are agreeing is a very real possibility as a formation of the Grand Canyon. Is like I said, at Lake Bittahoche, the spillway actually overflows. It starts cutting a channel, and over the course of a few weeks to a few months, you've got, again, an area the size of larger than Lake Michigan, just that much water, devastating an area like this. And if you look around, it's pretty easy to see that this could easily be formed from catastrophic flooding. Obviously, nobody knows for certain. Really, either way you look at it, you're kind of taking a leap of faith. Either, I believe God created all of this, and I have faith in the global flood and the stuff that He's created, or I've got faith that me, as a human at 30-some years of age or whatever, can go back in time 500 to 1.7 billion years ago and tell you what happened here. Either way you look at it, you're kind of going out on a leap of faith in judging what caused this. Regardless, it's, again, pretty easy to see. It's a beautiful place, and I guess in closing, I just want to thank Casey Webb for allowing us to do this, to go out today and spend a day really enjoying creation and stuff, instead of having to go in and write an 8 to 9 page paper. I've learned a lot just coming out and viewing everything, so appreciate the opportunity to do this in lieu of kind of a boring paper, so to speak. So yeah, that's about all I got.